Very often I use my platform to promote large tours, large shows, and when they come to Toronto, I'm there, and then I come here to tell you exactly my thoughts on how the performance went. But tonight, I feel like it's important to do something a little bit different. Support a small tour, support a do-it-yourself tour, a tour that features a band, or a duo I should say, that I love. Mayors of Thrace. They're from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. They are a post-hardcore sludge doom metal band, and if that's the kind of sound that you like, check out some of the links in the description of this video and maybe go catch them at one of their shows. They only have a few more shows left on this tour run, or go check them out on Spotify, pick up a record, buy some merch, do whatever you have to do to support these bands that are taking a huge gamble and a huge risk, considering the ecosystem of today's touring world, to go on the road and play shows for the fans that want to see them, for the fans that want to come out. So tonight they played Toronto. They played at the Garrison in Toronto. Now, it wasn't a packed house by no means, but everybody that was there to support them, was there because they love their sound, they love their music, and they also understand the importance of being there for bands like these that really are doing God's work across the nation. It's not easy to hop on a van. It's not easy to tour for 3-4 weeks, putting your full-time job on hold in order for you to do the thing that you love but doesn't necessarily pay the bills. And that's exactly what Mayors of Thrace are doing. They're doing it everything themselves. They're selling their own merch. They're performing, doing sound check, packing, unpacking, loading, offloading. There's nothing that they're not taking upon themselves in order to make this tour as successful as possible for them, but also to make sure that at the end of the tour, they're at the very least breaking even and not losing money. Now, the first thing I have to say is that it's a breath of fresh air when you go to a show and the band is selling merch and a t-shirt costs $25. I can't remember the last time I saw a shirt selling for $25. It's ridiculous the prices that we pay for merch these days, but that's the case. So I'm doing something that I believe in, which is not to say that I don't support bigger bands, but I rather put my money towards bands like Mayors of Thrace, bands that are at the ground level, bands that really need every single penny just to make it to the next show. Bigger bands have budgets. Bigger bands have the ability to do what they do at a much larger scale. These small bands, when they book these tours, the success of this tour really decides what the next tour, if there will be a next tour even down the road. So I honestly always feel compelled to support these local bands, to support bands that are doing these do-it-yourself tours, because I feel like the money goes not necessarily to a better cause, but it just goes into the community. It goes into my local metal scene. Now, they're not from Toronto, they're from Calgary. They're a Canadian band, so I feel like it's local anyways. So I was shocked by the prices, and obviously I picked up a shirt, and I wasn't the only one. From talking to the band, they're selling quite a bit of merch on this tour run, and I'm happy to see that, and I'm happy to say that I saw a lot of people picking up merch today as well. Now, they play a 1-hour show. They have a couple of local bands opening for them. So depending on where you saw them or where you're going to see them, the openers might be different. But let's face the facts. When you go to this show, you're enjoying the bands that are there opening, because maybe you discover a new band within those bands, but it's really about Mayors of Thrace in this case. It's really about their performance. So they play for an hour. They play I wouldn't say a deep set, but an interesting set, one that feels very balanced and very cohesive. I honestly felt like there was a sense of linearity across each and every single song that allows the overall experience to really blend these songs together as one, and the performance is less about the individual tracks, but more so about the collective, which is an interesting way of putting a set list together. You don't see the same ebbs and flows that you normally see, but for the sound of the band, this process works extremely well. I also enjoyed Thrace's talking to the fans in between some of the songs. It broke that linearity, because if you're going to have a very linear set, you have to find ways of creating ebbs and flows. Throwing in a little bit of a drum solo, throwing in a little bit of conversation with the fans really helps create those momentums, those different momentums, and that gives a little bit more of a dynamic movement to the overall performance and to the overall set. She's a very fun person to talk to. She's a very approachable person as well. And adding that part of her personality and her character into the performance, it's really a well-placed add-on that gives value to how the overall night comes across as far as watching Mares of Thrace put together a 1-hour live show. So I enjoy the performance. I enjoy seeing them play. When she's on the guitar, when she's singing, when she's playing, it feels like a true extension of who she is. The music that she creates is nothing more than a reflection of who she is as a person. And seeing her perform live today definitely painted that picture to me. I was able to see her using her instruments as a way to expand upon on what's on the inside. And she's a beautiful person on the inside and on the outside, and the performance that she put on tonight was phenomenal. I honestly really enjoyed it. It went by so quickly. I didn't feel like I was listening to them for an hour. I felt like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. It was a really great performance. They have great sound, great chemistry between the two of them. The drum sound was really good as well because it filled in the room. When you have just a drummer and a guitarist, you need to find ways of filling in the room to create volume. And my God, it felt like there were more band members than the ones that were on stage. Their sound felt very textured. It had a lot of texture in it. It had a lot of substance, really well put together, allowing you to create a big sounding experience, but one that really gives you a lot, that gives you energy, that gives you pain sometimes, that gives you suffering, that makes you think. Like, they have a uniqueness within their sound and within their song construction that allows you to have all of these different experiences. And like she said tonight, in between songs, the experiences or the mood of the song might be negative or might be dark, but you're still having a good time listening to them. And that is key. Creating a good time, creating a fun way of approaching perhaps a negative topic. They do that extremely well, and tonight was proof of that. I'm glad that I went out. I'm sure everybody that was there was glad that they went out. Please support these local bands. Please support these do-it-yourself tours. Go out, enjoy a night of live music. It sure is better than staying at home and being hostage to a TV screen. You can watch TV any day you want. You can watch TV at any hour. You can watch any show on demand. But to watch a band play live music, to be entertained, to live in the moment is something that we're lacking as people. So if there is an opportunity to live in that moment and then to share that moment with those around you, I think it's an opportunity that you shouldn't miss. These smaller shows are even better because it's more organic. You can see the faces beside you, you can feel the energy, and then after the show you can talk to the band, you can find out a little bit more about them, about their music, about their struggles. That creates deeper bonds with the musicians and allows their music to have a much deeper meaning as well. So if bands like Mares of Thrace or others that are doing these smaller tour runs on a van or on a small trailer, go support them, go see them. They are a huge part of the ecosystem that we love. The metal world is not just about the massive tour. It's not just about the Clash of Titans. It's also about these bands that really keep the underground going, that keep the music scene alive and well within their own scenes, but then bringing a little bit of the local scene into the forefront, allowing those bands to open for them and giving life to the local ecosystem as well. So once again, Mares of Thrace from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Go check them out. Description of the video will have links for the band as well as the tour dates. If you have a chance to catch one of those, don't miss it. You're going to have a great time. And I'll see you all at the next video.